What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Now, I know I'm gonna apologize right off the jump for my last video not covering any news, but you know, I had to get that off my chest because I'm kind of tired, sick and tired, if you will, of getting David Pakman fans coming in and telling me that I'm lying when I'm just reading the corporate press news and giving my opinion on that. I'm not lying about anything. That's what I do. But David Pakman was the one, come to find out, was lying to everybody, and he's hemorrhaging subscribers for it. But what's up, y'all? Do me a favor right quick. Speaking of hemorrhaging subscribers, smash that subscribe button for me if you don't mind. I just got to put that reminder out there because 95% of my viewership is unsubscribed. That's right. And y'all make sure to hit that like button for me. I sure would appreciate that. It helps with the algorithm a bunch. But let's jump into the news right quick, y'all. Check this out. Judge strikes down Biden immigration program. Y'all remember a program, an article I covered a little while back where Joe Biden's trying to give amnesty to people who are married to criminal aliens. Yeah, he wants to give all these people amnesty. Yeah, well, that got shot down. That is right. Check this out, y'all. A federal judge on Thursday struck down a Biden administration policy that aimed to ease a path to citizenship for some undocumented immigrants, or, aka as I call them, criminal aliens, who are married to U.S. citizens. The program, lauded as one of the biggest presidential actions to help immigrant families in years, allowed undocumented spouses and stepchildren of U.S. citizens to apply for a green card without first having to leave the country, the AP reports. That is right. So Joe Biden just wanted to blanket give amnesty to all these people. And this is no surprise. The Biden administration has been trying to give amnesty to a lot of criminal aliens. Look at the border policy he put into place. That allows 2,500 criminal aliens to cross the border daily. And he's given legal protected status to all of these people. To all of them. All 2,500 per day that come across. I don't know if our numbers, because our numbers are kind of low right now, so I don't know if our numbers have reached 2,500 yet. But as a matter of fact, they advocated strongly and excoriated Donald Trump for a border bill that would have allowed 5,000 migrants across the border daily, which is just almost amnesty. Allowing these people to come in, then giving them legal protected status, and then giving them government assistance. And when these people, they get jobs that the Biden administration is giving to these people, they have to go get an ID. And what happens when they go get an ID? They get registered to vote. That's absurd. It's just outright absurd. And that's what the Biden administration is doing. And as a matter of fact, we just got a strong rebuke of the Biden agenda. November 5th. As a matter of fact, I'm sure you guys know what happened on November 5th. Donald Trump it was a landslide. Like, not Donald Trump necessarily. He did win the popular vote by about 5 million at this point. But the landslide is we took back the presidency, we took back the Senate, and we took back the House of Representatives. That is right. And the Republican Party, this is not like 2017, folks, when we had the same thing. This is not going to be like that whatsoever. We've had a clean out of the Republican Party. And the Republican Party is coalesced behind Donald Trump at this point for the most part. We still have some rhinos. We still have these people, these neocons lingering off in the background. But yeah, with the popular mandate of Donald Trump, yeah, these people are going to fall right in line, y'all. I can almost assure you of that. And we are going to get this country back on track. But let's keep going, y'all. The temporary relief from deportation brought a brief sense of security to some 500,000 immigrants estimated to benefit from the program before Texas-based U.S. District Judge J. Campbell Barker put it on hold in August, days after applicants filled their paperwork. Baker ruled Thursday that the Biden administration had overstepped its authority by implementing the program and had stretched the legal interpretation of relevant immigration law past its breaking point. Now, this is a common theme with the Biden administration. They continually push past the breaking point. They don't care about laws. I'll talk about this on almost every single video. As a matter of fact, every video that I talk about the Biden administration, I discuss how they don't care about the rule of law. They want to bend the law to their will, and that's not how the law works. You just can't go push past the laws. Like, everything they've done on that border has broken the law. You can't just give legal protected status to all these criminal aliens. You can't fly in immigrants from all over the world, give them legal protected status, plop them down in rural Ohio, and expect everything to just turn out all rosy and fine. That's not how immigration works. That's not how the melting pot is supposed to work. You've got to integrate into these communities, and you can't create enclaves of groups of people from an entirely different culture and expect them to integrate into a totally different culture. Just boom. That doesn't work ever. The short-lived Biden administration initiative, known as Keeping Families Together, a virtue signal name, would have been unlikely to remain in place after Donald Trump took office in January. But its early termination creates greater uncertainty for immigrant families, as many are bracing for Trump's return to the White House. During his first term, Trump appointed Barker as a judge in Tyler, Texas, which lies in the 5th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals, a favored venue for advocates pushing conservative arguments. Barker had placed the immigration initiative on hold after Texas and 15 other states, led by their Republican attorneys general, filed a legal challenge accusing the executive branch of bypassing Congress to help immigrant families for blatant political purposes. Republicans argued the initiative created costs for their states and could draw more immigrants to the U.S. And they're totally right. I totally agree with that. Some of it might be a little bit over the top, right? Because the states don't have to really help in that situation. Massachusetts has proven that outright with their refusal to help the federal government. They don't have to do anything with these people. However, it does hurt their constituents in their states, and they don't want that for their constituents. Yeah, the Biden administration doesn't care about states' rights, as a matter of fact. If it's not clear, now, this is just an opinion, but you can see it. You can see how I would be pushed to this opinion. Joe Biden is an authoritarian ruling a democracy, if you will. He is trying to push and push and push past the limits constantly. Just all you got to do for evidence is look at his student loan forgiveness program. Supreme Court told him no. He said, okay, we're going to try this. Supreme Court told him no. He said, we're going to do it anyway. Right? There's several other things, too. There's several other things that I could go on. But let's keep going. The policy would have applied to people who have been living continuously in the U.S. for at least 10 years, do not pose a security threat, and have utilized the existing legal authority known as parole in place that offers deportation protections. Those married to a citizen by June 17th, the day before the program was announced, could pay a $580 application fee and fill out a lengthy application explaining why they deserve humanitarian parole. If approved, applicants would have 3 years to seek permanent residency and obtain work authorization. This is another perversion of the parole process. That parole process was made up and put in place for refugees. That's right. People coming, like, if there's a war in South Korea or someplace, right? And you got a lot of refugees, or like take from Ukraine. You get a bunch of Ukrainians that don't want to stay there because there's a war going on. Hey, we take these people in, right? And we give them parole. We let them into the country. They can act like citizens, right? They can get authorization to go work. They can get a job, build a life, and get citizenship, as a matter of fact. And they get a lot easier path towards citizenship than a standard immigrant does. They get a much easier path. They get an accelerated path, if you will. That's just how that works. And hey, I understand. That's pretty good. But when you abuse it, when you just let these people pour across the southern border like that, people break the law to come in. We shouldn't be giving these people just free reign to do whatever they want to. We shouldn't put them on parole, giving them legal protected status, authorizing them to work, and putting them on the voter rolls, for crying out loud. That's absurd. And the American people spoke about that. They said, we don't want this. And it's, once again, it's the Biden administration not giving a damn about the rule of law in this country, and just pushing past that and saying, screw it, we're going to do what we want, when we want. Non-citizen spouses are already eligible for legal status, but often have to apply from their home countries. The process typically includes a years-long wait outside the U.S., which can separate family members with different immigration statuses. Now, we heard this a lot with Donald Trump. Oh, they're separating families at the southern border. Well, yeah, of course. Right? This is something they're putting kids in cages, like AOC used to say. Right, but what they're not telling you, and what the corporate press refused to say, and you know, a lot of people got lied to about, like they had the wool pulled over their eyes on this one with the whole kids in cages things, because it was a bad look the way the corporate press and Democrats were portraying this. Right, they separated these kids from these people because there is this thing in this world that is disgusting. It's a scourge on humanity that people traffic children. Right, like stealing kids. Kids get kidnapped all the time. Or sometimes these people give up their kids to these coyotes, to these cartel members. It's absurd. And they traffic these kids into our country, into abusive situations. I'll put it that way. I'm trying to be, you know, PG, if you will. They put them into abusive situations. They get trafficked into that, if you know what I mean. So what Donald Trump did is you separate these kids for 48, 72 hours, something like that. I forget the exact number, if it was 48 or 72. I think it was 48. But you separate these kids and you interrogate them, essentially. You just, you know, you get a social worker to come in, somebody, a lady, somebody nice, and you ask them, is this your parents? You know, and you hang on to them, you observe them for a little while to see if they're being trafficked into this country. And Democrats were advocating against this. It's absurd. It's outright absurd. They lied to everybody, said, oh, they're just locking these kids up for no reason. Well, yeah, they came into the country illegally first. And then secondly, we have a trafficking problem. So Donald Trump doing this was a good thing. Was a very good thing. Is it inconvenient for genuine families that come across that southern border? Sure. Now, you could call into question whether it's a good idea for these people to be going through cartel territory, for crying out loud, with their entire family, putting them in a very dangerous situation. I don't think that's a good idea, but hey, I understand the American dream is very enticing to a lot of these people. But there's a lot of people, a lot of children that get abused in this system. So we want to separate those kids and figure out if they are being trafficked or not. I find that a good cause to get behind, to rally the public behind this. And the Biden administration came in and shut it down. Just stop doing that. All because of optics. Because of what the left did to Trump. That's why. Because he didn't want to be the guy that was still putting kids in cages. That's just absurd. The lie that has been perpetrated upon the American people. They twisted that one all around. And for what purpose? A giant virtue signal. Because they didn't understand. They didn't understand what was going on, I guess. That, or they're intentionally lying for evil purposes, for malicious purposes. I hate to believe the latter on that one. I'm going to go with the former, that they didn't know that they were separating them to figure out if they're being trafficked or not. Because the other one spells bad news for our politicians, doesn't it? If they knew what was going on and they were lying to the American people on purpose to get them to stop doing this so these kids could get trafficked, that's absurd. Although we do have some evidence to back this up. I covered an article a little while back talking about the Biden administration. Some of the people in DHS were giving some of these kids, they lost 300 and something thousand children, right? But we find out that some of these kids, were being put into foster care, and come to find out some of these foster parents were MS-13 gang members and other gang members and known felons. That's absurd. And knowingly put these kids in these situations. Knowingly. The government knew that they were putting children with known gang members and known felons. And just so happened to lose track of all these kids. Lose track of them. So the Biden administration was complicit in trafficking children. That is right. And I hope and pray that Donald Trump comes in and he launches an investigation into that. To everybody who was complicit, they're going to have to face the consequences of their actions if it's found out that they're guilty of knowingly putting children into dangerous situations. That's bad, y'all. That's bad. And I just can't believe what the Democrats did on this one. Oh, they're putting kids in cages. You remember the famous photo of AOC at the fence at the southern border with her head down crying. Crocodile tears, y'all. Crocodile tears. It's absurd. It's just all absurd if you ask me. But y'all do me a favor and smash that like button if you don't mind. I would appreciate the heck out of it. I would appreciate it a lot. And if you're new around here, do me a favor, do yourself a favor if you want to stay up to date with politics and news and everything else. Smash that subscribe button for me. I would greatly appreciate that. And y'all let me know what y'all think about all this down in the comment section, because I'm curious to hear your insights into this and see what you think is going on with this. Let me know if you think the Biden administration was intentionally trafficking children. Hey, we got evidence to prove it, to almost prove it, to just about prove it. At least some people in the administration were complicit and intentionally did it. But y'all let me know what y'all think. That's all I got for this one. I want to thank everybody for watching, and y'all try to have a good day. Stay legitical. Peace.